So in this video, I'm going to go over what I believe is the most important missing piece to the law of attraction. How to make the law of attraction simple. How do we make it easy? How do we make it to where everybody can use it? We're all using it on a consistent basis, but how do you make it to where you're actually getting exactly what it is that you want? Because when you think about it, there's only three things that you want. It's either health, wealth, or relationships. That's it. So if you just understand this missing piece to the law of attraction, everything else works out really smooth. The first thing to understand is that the law of attraction is a secondary universal law. It is not a primary universal law. What I mean by that is this. The law of gravity is a primary universal law. The law of aerodynamics is a secondary universal law. So if I'm in an airplane, I am operating in a secondary law to the primary law, which is the law of gravity. If for any reason there's something that goes wrong with those engines on the plane that I'm on, then now all of a sudden I am not operating in a universal law, which is the law of aerodynamics. The law of gravity now takes over, and now that plane is going to be attracted to the center of the earth. Makes sense, right? So understand the law of attraction is a secondary law to the law of vibration. It is a secondary law to the law of vibration. The law of vibration is the first law. The law of attraction is the secondary law. So what does that mean, Kenny? And how do we make that make sense? Everything that you want is on a vibration. Everything that you want is on a vibration. It is as simple as thinking about turning the TV. If you are watching ESPN, right now, the red hot second, while you're watching ESPN, there's still CNN going on another station. There's still Lifetime going on another station. Those things are still happening at a different vibration. All you have to do is go to that vibration of the thing that you want to look at, or turn your TV to that or to the TV channel of the thing that you want to look at, and then now you're going to start receiving in whatever it is that you're looking at. After you turn your TV to that channel, after you're on that vibration, you are now receiving more and more and more of that show. So if you were not watching ESPN, you were only watching Lifetime, and then you turn to ESPN, the law of attraction after 17 seconds says, I'm going to give you more thoughts that are in alignment with this first set of thoughts. Then I'm going to give you, after 17 seconds, another set of thoughts, and then another set of thoughts. After 68 seconds, you are now in the vibration. You are now on the vibration of the thing that you are thinking about. Let me go into that a little bit more. Let's say, for example, right now you're good and everything's good and you're watching this video and you're like, yo, I'm about to get the secret or the missing piece to the law of attraction. I can make you cry in just 68 seconds. The first thing that I have to do, or the first thing that all I have to do, is just ask you a question that is going to bring to you something that is going to make you sad. I just take you to a vibration that's going to make you sad. So let's say, for example, somebody close in your life has passed away. All I have to do is ask you about that person, and then immediately you're going to go to that person. And then the more I start asking you questions and the more that we start talking about that, you will be in the same exact vibration that you were whenever that person passed away. The law of attraction works the same exact way. But in this case, in this video, normally we're not looking at the law of attraction to say, how do I get more thoughts? How do I get more thoughts and more thoughts and more thoughts, or get on the vibration? We're looking at the law of attraction to say, how do I get more stuff? How do I get the health that I want? How do I step into my natural state of health? How do I get the relationship of my dreams? How do I get the money? How do I get the money from being in the ether and put it into my bank? And that's what we're going to talk about. The first thing that I'll tell you is this. It's so simple. It is so simple. Keep this in mind, and I tell people this inside of Master Manifest University all of the time. The law of attraction and the way that you get anything is the way that you have gotten everything in life. everything in life, you've done it the same exact way. You have left one identity and went to another identity. When I say the word identity, I mean lifestyle. You've left one lifestyle and gone to another lifestyle, and we'll break that down, make it simple. You've gone from one personality to another personality. Cool. So let's chop this up. Let's make this let's get Gucci with it. Let's make this simple. Cool. So think about the time when you were in the identity or the personality or the lifestyle of someone that went to middle school. And you had your middle school personality. And then at some point in time, you graduated middle school and you went to high school. You were not, so when I'm saying identity, I mean lifestyle, I mean personality. You were not the same identity in high school that you were in middle school. You went from one identity to another identity. Let me give you another example. Let's say, for example, you had no relationship with God. There was a time that you didn't have any relationship with God and you did whatever it was that you wanted to do and you had no relationship with God. And then one day something happened, you went to church or someone came to your house and you started this relationship with God. You left one identity and you went to a different identity. Make sense? Yes. Think about this. Do you remember when you were in this new relationship with God? You're in this new identity and you started doing things different. And then in this new identity, somebody tried you in this new identity. So somebody, let's say, for example, you're in this new identity, and now in this new identity, like you're committed and you do the things that you're supposed to do, and then you're but if the person that you're in a relationship with is like, yo, I think you're cheating. Have you ever told that person, listen, don't make me go back to my old me. Don't make me go back to my old self. If you understand that, you understand the missing piece to the law of attraction. The only thing that you are doing is going from one identity to another identity. How long is it going to take you to go from one identity to another identity? It can take you seconds, it can take you minutes, it can take you hours, and unfortunately for some people, it takes them years. It takes them years. Why? Because the you that wants what it is that you want is not the you that will end up getting the thing that you are using the law of attraction for. Let me say it to you this way. Let's say, for example, you earn $100,000 a year. You earn $100,000 a year and you want to go to $500,000 a year. The way that the law of attraction is taught is that you're going to do some type of process, whether it's affirmations, 369 method, you're going to do those things. And then what God is going to do is give you $500,000. It doesn't work that way. What ends up happening is the old identity has to die. This you has to die. And when this you dies and you're now revived, you're now living in this new identity, this is the identity that has the $500,000. Why? Because scientifically, both are happening right now, this red hot second. There's not a you. People say, oh my goodness, God is going to do something. God is not going to do anything. God has already done. Matter of fact, to say that God is going to do something is to call him a liar. Jesus' last words is that it's a finished work. So if it's a finished work and you already have the 500,000, you already have the million, you already have that, then the only thing that you have to do is leave one identity and go to another identity. You think about when Jesus was walking the earth and he was doing his miracles and things like that, and he would talk to the disciples and he would say, "O ye of little faith." Why? Because you don't believe that right now, this red hot second, this person that can't see, you don't believe that there is a version, there's an identity, there's a personality, there's a lifestyle right now, this red hot second, where the person can see. But I know that he can. I know that right now, this red hot second, he can. So what I will do is I will only put my attention on this person that I know that can already see, that can already walk, that is already living. I will only put my attention on this person, and I will completely ignore this person. And then scientifically, quantum physics says this is what I have to experience. This is what you have to experience because your awareness is only on this one thing. Cool. So what changes in identity? How do we change in identity? The way that we think, the way that we feel, the way that we act. Those are the three things. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? What are you acting? How are you acting? Are you acting like the person that has $100,000? Are you complaining? Are you talking about not having it? Are you saying things like God is going to do something? Or every single morning that you wake up, are you already in that identity? One of the first things that I do inside of Master Manifesto University, as soon as somebody comes into Master Manifesto University, the only thing that I do is help them change identities. That's it. It doesn't matter how much money you want. It doesn't matter how much money you want to manifest, whether it's 100,000, 500,000, your first million. It doesn't matter. There's an identity of you that already has it. And if you can do a good job of just helping your customers change identity, that's what they're paying you for. That's what customers are paying you for. I know that I need to go from a personality to a personality or one identity to another identity. What I'm going to pay you to do is help me keep me in this identity. Keep me in this identity. Don't let me go back to this identity. Everything that we do inside of Master Manifesto University is to keep you inside this new identity, which is one of the reasons why the first thing that we do whenever you come to Master Manifesto University, before you talk to anybody, we have you take a manifestation blocks test. We have you take an identity blocks test. What are the things that have been keeping you stuck in this identity? Because immediately, if I can remove those things, not teach you how to get to this identity with those things. No, that's going to be too hard. It's going to take years to do that. We can do this in days. Is it procrastination? Is it fear of failure? Is it fear of success? Is it money not being able to trust you? You not putting yourself first? What are the things that are keeping you stuck in this old identity? Let's take a test and figure out what that is. As soon as we figure out what that is, now we got you in this new identity. Now all we have to do is help you build this new identity and give you practical things to stay in that new identity over and over and over again. And you will start seeing changes and manifesting money and the health and the wealth in your life immediately. What do I mean by that? I remember the time that I had COVID, and I didn't have like middle school COVID like it is now. I had like college COVID where people were like dying. Matter of fact, one of the things that I knew is that I didn't want to go to a hospital because at the time when COVID first came out, they were putting people in an induced coma. And what's the first thing that we tell people if they hit their head? Don't let that person what? Don't let that person go to sleep. Why? Because your subconscious mind thinks it is doing you a favor by transitioning you from one place to another place. So if you take somebody that is in this place of fear and they're in this place of not knowing what's going on with their body, and you take away their conscious mind, you take away the very thing, you take away their ability to be like, no, I'm not living. I got something to live for. I'm living for my kids. I'm living for this. I'm living for that. You take that away, and then the subconscious mind says, hey, I'm just going to let you transition from this world to another world, and the subconscious mind thinks it is doing you a favor, and it is. So I didn't want to go to the hospital at all, but I also knew that I was close to transitioning. I was very close to transitioning. I tell people all the time, I feel like I was about 15 minutes away from death. I had a cough from hell. Like whenever I would cough, like everything inside of me was trying to come out. I didn't have any energy. So right now, if I have 100% energy, I had maybe 10, 15% energy. I could not go from the room that I was in, and I mean the room that I was in was right next to the bathroom. Anything that I put in my body, it was coming out immediately. I did not have enough energy, and I could not hold down anything. I had diarrhea from hell. My breathing was... So I had really bad breathing. So I go into my imagination and I say, I'm having this conversation with God, and I say, God, just please take this from me. And he says, heal yourself. I'm like, okay, how do I do that? It's like, you do the very same thing that you teach other people how to do. So I'm having this dialogue in my mind with God. So he says, use your imagination. No problem at all. So I go into my imagination and I imagine myself walking around the block. And he says, no, push your imagination. I imagine myself running around the block. He says, no, push your imagination. I imagine myself running around the block holding hands with Jesus. He says, no, push your imagination. I imagine myself jumping from one mountain to another. No, push your imagination. I imagine myself jumping from one mountain to another with Jesus. No, push your imagination. I imagine myself being on the outside of the wing of an airplane having lunch with Christ on the outside of the wing of the airplane. Now, it's not religious. It didn't matter who was going to be on the other side of that wing. But for me, because I was so close to meeting him, I was like, well, he lives inside of me. So I already met him. But y'all know what I'm saying. I was so close to transitioning. I'm like, you know what? If I'm on an airplane and I'm on the outside of the wing of the airplane and that airplane is going 500 miles an hour and I am eating, then surely I have to be healthy. Surely there can't be any issues with my health because I'm on the outside of a wing of an airplane. I sat there, I imagined that. And as I did that, so what I did, I left one identity and I went to another identity, and I was so much in this other identity, and I pushed my imagination so much that my subconscious mind says, oh, this is who you are. This is the identity that you are. My body took a deep breath. And I was able to breathe. I went back in, and then the diarrhea went away. I went back in, and I imagined, and then I had the energy in my body. I went back in, and it was like, oh, okay, I want something to eat. In less than 1 hour, I was in Hillsborough Beach, Florida, with my best friend Sean in the beach. I went from being on my deathbed to being at the beach and playing at the beach. And then we ended up having tacos maybe an hour or two later. They were the best tacos in the entire world because of one thing, because I learned one thing: the missing piece to manifestation, the missing piece to the law of attraction, which is all you're doing is leaving one identity and going into a different identity. And that changed absolutely 1,000% everything. It changed everything. Now, if you say, you know what, Kenny, I know that I am ready to go from one identity to another identity. Go to the description that is there. Go and take the test that in reference to your manifestation blocks. That test is free. It doesn't cost you anything at all. If you're ready to have a one-on-one call to talk about removing those blocks and working with someone that can easily and quickly take you from one identity to another identity, then I look forward to seeing you, and I look forward to working with you. Listen, we live in a world where people hate for no reason. It's a crazy world. It's a crazy time that we're going through right now. And people are doing things for no reason at all. And I truly believe if people can hate for no reason, then I can love you for no reason. My name is Kenny Morgan, and I love you.